Room yangu iko messy.
Twende. Twende. Ingia. This you go posting here.
So what happened that weekend? I was on a work trip, and we were like away. So Esther sent me a message and told me, Percy, please have your weekend free. I want to take you somewhere. And she was asking like, do you want around? So I knew we were going for a staycation somewhere. That's exactly what I knew. So getting home, I have my bags. I sleep on Friday now. I sleep, and then I started unpacking my bags. Esther is not saying anything. I have cancelled all the plans from Friday. That thing is loud. I have cancelled all my plans from from Saturday to Monday, my birthday, because Esther said we should extend the weekend. And then afterwards, I'm waiting for a call from Esther. She's not even saying anything. Around noon, I tried to ask her, hey girl, are we supposed to be doing something and all that? And I just told her, I'm very mad at you because I would have had other plans. And oh, I forgot. I'm like, Esther, how did you forget? And she's like, I'm coming. Esther is one of the people that does not like leaving the house. But that day she's just like, okay, I'm coming right away. So I start putting my clothes away, the dirty ones and the clean ones. By then I was chatting with Dave. We were texting, but my birthday is in 2 days. So whatever happens is I have to get rid of him. And Esther comes and I'm telling Esther, I don't want anything to do with this guy anymore. Because this guy was just coming from a very complicated form of relationship. And I felt he had not healed enough. And he had a kid. I was ish about dating someone with a kid. That was not really like a deal breaker. But if someone did not have a kid, it was like, yeah, at least we're starting from zero, both of us. And then so I asked God for a sign, and I said, God, show me if this guy has any potential, like if this guy is the one. That way, I didn't say show me if he's not the one. I said, show me if he's the one. And Esther comes and be like, okay, let's go somewhere. So we went to African stores. For the first time, Esther wants to go to all the stores. I'm like, okay, let me go grab something here. Oh, it's okay. Let me do. And Esther's like, oh, let's go and check this African store. I'm like, she doesn't even eat any African. Of course, I don't. Apart from ugali, that's what I go for mostly in the African stores, because every other thing you can find everywhere. Esther just keeps on taking me round and round. I'm like, oh right, I love going places, and she was like my friend who can go place with, but she doesn't like leaving the house. So I felt this was a golden opportunity to be out, because first she's driving, second she wants to drive everywhere today. Sorry. So what happens is I'm talking to him. He's like, oh, I'm going to work today. I'm like, if you don't, in my head, I'm trying to be rude. In my head, I tell him, if he doesn't want to talk to me, he should not talk to me. This is a good excuse of cutting this communication. So I tell him, yeah, you just go and do what is important to you. And like, oh, yeah, I'll be going to work, and then I'll be visiting my friend. Mention the name of the friend. I'm like, just do what you want to do. And I'm trying to be rude. He does not see that. He did not see me trying to be rude and all that. And then it starts like, oh, you're the most important thing for me. I'm trying to be like, just do what is important to you. Stop telling me and all that. And like, no, even the work is not important. Your most important thing to me. I'm like, yeah, it's so hard to let this guy go. I have 2 days deadline. Saturday and Sunday, because Monday I'm starting afresh. I am not going with any situationship in my 30. I don't want to start just wandering around. After all the shopping and all that, because as I was saying, on Monday I was done with all the situationship, and I was trying to reject him by all means. He was being nice. I was talking to, now I was telling Esther, this guy, I want to leave him, because Esther knows him because we went with Esther and all that. I didn't know Esther was communicating to him. I'm like, why is Esther with me and on her phone? I'm like, whatever. We get to do what we get to do. So Esther is like, okay, now we can go home. It was long. I was ready to go back home because I was still mad at her. She told me to book the whole weekend, and she's just taking me to Surrey to buy things, food, Walmart, and all those places. For once, she did not complain. Getting home, I find a flower on the kitchen island, and it's written something 30, or the best 30, wherever. It was written something 30 years. And then I held it and I looked at Esther, because I'm like, what time did she get me these flowers? Because we were talking with Esther when we went to Walmart. I was looking at some flowers. I'm like, yeah, I need to get these flowers and all this. And then I come in the house, I find flowers. I'm like, Esther, what time did you get these flowers? She's like, oh, let's just go to your room. So I get the flower. I'm like, okay, I'll leave these flowers here. Nope. Esther's like, let's go. Oh, you see, yeah, it was written 30 years of glory. And then Esther says, let's just take the flowers upstairs. So I go upstairs. And then Esther starts recording. I hope I have that video. I will attach here.
Twende. Twende.
So I've never shared that video actually. Esther starts recording. For me, it's weird. Like, why are you recording? So in my head, like those, I thought Esther had decorated my room, but it doesn't make sense because I was with Esther the whole time. My landlord, or the owner, landlord was not was not at home. She was out of town, and the other roommate was out of town, like what as their parents. So that means Esther must have done this thing, because I was not expecting him. I was cutting him on Sunday. If he never showed up, we'll never be together. I'm glad he had probably gone through Esther. So Esther's like, open your door. I'm like, this is my house. So the first thing for me, I'm expecting like those helium balloons, because she's recording and all that. I opened the door. My room is dark. I don't know if I left it dark or he turned off the light. And I'm like, no, something is happening. So I open the door. I see him. I run back out.
Julia. Nope.
If you look at me, it's actually me.
I was filled with emotions. For me, maybe now, but I've not always been a crier. So I look at him. Now, the opposite for me, when I'm excited or whatever, I will laugh. And now I start laughing. I look at Esther, I look at him. And then, that was like a confirmation. This is the guy. But this is not the end of the drama. But I'm like, yeah, now this is the guy. So we spent the whole weekend together, takes me out for birthday dinner with other friends. It was nice. It was good. And I was like, oh, he did this. He did like a good thing coming over. So it's like everything was rekindled again. Everything that I was trying to cut was rekindled again.
I told you I'd go see my best friend. A long day at work.
Yeah.
And now he had to go back.
Yeah, I had to go back to work. If it was Monday we had off, then Tuesday I had to be going back to work. And yeah, we said our goodbyes and planned everything to head back. And I made it. Obviously, I left late. I was actually going to leave early, but
Yeah.
we ended up staying late, talking, and it was hard to
Changed the
leave
boy. Yeah.
this amazing woman. So I ended up going, and it was super rainy. I went and picked up some stuff Marketplace on the way home, and then get to Hope and start going through Manning Park, and I was very. It was raining like crazy, and I was going down the road. I've only been really down Manning Park, I think once. Yeah, I think that was the first time. Like getting to the
Just
coast. Now this is coming back, and I came around this one corner. Seemed like the biggest rainstorm I've been in BC. And there's a lot of tight corners, and I think it was regular 90. This corner, usually they say recommended 60, 70 going around the corner. Pay lip service to it because it doesn't really affect my small car at the time. And then, so I saw the sign, but I didn't look closely at it. I just figured, okay, it's another 60, 70, whatever. And then I keep going my speed, and the corner got super tight. And it was raining, and I had winter tires on in October. So it was just a matter of too tight. I couldn't make the corner, so I slid off sideways and then head down and then flipped over onto my roof. And yeah, and 2 cars away from me, like 2 car lengths away from me, was another car in that ditch. So that was a sad spot. So anyways, I got people stopped pretty quickly to come help me out or whatever, and then I just started. Oh yeah, I was okay, and actually recorded myself in there. And then I just grabbed all my stuff, tried to put it off to the side, just kind of take everything out that was mine I wanted to save. And yeah, people were there waiting, called whatever ambulance, whatever. So everyone showed up, and I ended up getting a ride with RCMP back to Hope. And
RCMP is the
RCMP,
police.
yeah, the police. Had to get a ride with him, and it was a really good conversation actually with the guy on the way back, the half-hour drive. But anyways, he dropped me off in Hope with all my stuff. I get a little shopping cart to put it in, and yeah, go to McDonald's and just kind of chill out there. And like, okay, it's like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Now I gotta figure out how to get back home, and I gotta go to work tomorrow. So however that's gonna work. So I ended up texting my boss and stuff, and he was all good with that. Um, just messaging all my friends and see what I could do, and then yeah, eventually I talked to this guy just outside in the parking lot, and he was in a big Sprinter van with a trailer, I think. And I asked him, I was like, "Hey, do you think you can give me a ride?" He's like, "Oh no, I'm going to Surrey." I said, "Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much." Told him what happened, and then anyways, I go back in McDonald's trying to message people. He comes in, talks to me. He's like, "Talk to my boss. He changed me to go to Grand Forks, which is just an hour outside of Castlegar, close to where Passy and I first met." And I was like, "Wow, that's amazing, sweet." So I pack all my stuff into his van. We get driving. Super nice guy. We chatted for as much as I could. I think I probably fell asleep while he was driving. It turned like a 6 hour drive into maybe an 8 hour drive all night. He was going pretty slow, but I was still appreciative for getting the ride. And yeah, it took me to Grand Forks. I got there fairly early. Texted a good girlfriend that used to be, but we were still good friends. If I could, crash at her place on her couch, coming in early in the morning. And then, yeah, she said that was okay. So when I woke up, had all my stuff there. I think she gave me breakfast, and then I was out the door, try to figure out a way back to get to Castlegar. So I hitchhiked, and trucker picked me up, brought me to Castlegar. Another good conversation, and then I got to Castlegar. I had to find another buddy, give me a ride to the airport, and then yeah, I got there, got a rental car, and then went and picked up my boy that I had that day, and yeah, I had the rental car for a couple weeks until I figured out how to get another car.
Yeah, the only reason that you know someone will ask why didn't you just Uber? We live in like the Kootenays and there's no like Uber services and all those. And when it comes to buses, it's crazy. So it's just like it's not like reliable transportation here.
No.
It's like
There's
it's a
like one
very remote.
bus that goes between the coast to the Kootenays,
Yeah, so
and it's only like once a week or something.
yeah, so that's why he had to hitchhike and do all those things because he was also picking his kid. Anyway, so long story short, after all those things, he texts me and tells me, and then we continue talking until another time again. You know, as much as he came, I was still kind of worried because this guy just has like a lot of things, drama going on in his life at that point. And I've never had dramas in my life. I'm very peaceful. And now I'm just thinking like, oh, baby mama's drama and oh, another stepkid's drama and all those things. I'm like, nope, this is not what I want for my life or what I ever wanted for my life. So the guy, you know, like when someone checks all those boxes, I'm like, he checks these boxes. And of course, it was not like a done deal. What is it called? It was not like whatever deal if someone had a kid. For me it was just okay, it depending on the situations, because if someone was a widower and all that, I was just afraid of this baby mama dramas and all those things which
Right.
he was kind of going through. So it was not just like I was saying my own things, and it was evident enough for me that yeah, he's going through things. And again, I pray and I ask God, at least from my side. So per se, me, I'm a dreamer, and I'll tell a story another time of my exes and all that, but I'm always a dreamer. So God communicates to me mostly in dreams. He communicates to everyone in dreams and all these other ways of communication. But for me, it's mostly dreams. So I asked God, I need another confirmation, because maybe that was just a coincidence. You know, like when God communicates something, he gives confirmation and confirmation. And then this confirmation that God gives is the only reason I'm still with Dave. I don't think he knows that. But even like when we have fights and all this, I remember this confirmation that God gave. So in this confirmation, I was with Dave, and Dave was staying, so it was like a dream kind of vision. Dave, we were somewhere that we were just in a cool place, and then fire started. And in this fire, Dave was just moving around. And I can see the escape, and the escape was something like an airport. And we had to give our passports to go through the gate. And this guy was not even moving. I'm like, we have to go. So I held his arm, like his hands, and started like pulling him, like moving forward, and he was just dragging behind me. So I was moving with him so much and running, like, we have to get out of this place. There is fire, there is fire. And I felt, even in the dream, I felt like he was going to be harmed with the fire more than I was. And I'm like, you don't see this fire, we need to get out of this place. So we get to the passport control. They check our passports, and then they're asking, where are you going? Dave is like confused, going this way. I'm like, no, we are going through this door. And then there were two doors, so it's either right or left. So it said we are going through the left door. And then, yeah, you guys can go. And then we were let in to go through that door. And then after just passing this control, it's not like we're going on a plane. We get to ourselves like in a very beautiful hilly place, like mountains and all that. And then there was path this wide, or whatever, this wide, just enough for someone, and then there was a cliff. So on this side, what were we doing? We were walking, but this guy was not even in a hurry. I looked back, I saw a huge fire following us, like fire, like forest fire. And it was moving towards us, like it's something like running towards us. And then in that time, I held his hand and we started now running. So for him, he did not know what was happening. Of course, he saw the fire and all that. But, you know, like when someone has zoned out and doesn't know anything that's happening. So I held his hand and started running. And then there was something like a house that we went through. Let me say, like, we went through one door and left through the other door. And then we found ourselves in a very beautiful village, like a small village. And the moment we crossed like this, we started walking because everyone in that village was peaceful. No one knew what was happening behind the other door. Like just going through that door and out this other door. It's like everything changed. Peace, people are in the market, like it's like maybe because of familiarity, I saw like something like an African village, like our home village. I saw some people selling market out there, and everyone was living life. And then I held his hand, and now we started romantically walking. Now it was not survival walking. And then I woke up, and after that I sat down and prayed about this dream, and I realized, I know a man is the head of the family and all that, but I realized even in this journey, if I chose to go through it, and if I had whatever, I'm going to, I don't know, I'm going to hold his hand. Like, I don't want to say like a responsibility per se, but I'm going to help him come out of everything that he was going through. And that was like something for me. I felt like God was showing me, like, yeah, he needs you in his life for maybe this particular reason. But also, if I choose to stay, because God can always find someone else to do that. So if it was not me, but even if I chose to stay, I knew it's not going to be easy. And honestly, that's why at times I extend grace as much as I'm not good. That I have to remind myself every time, even when we have issues and all that. And I have to remember, like, we are getting, and that's why I was like, oh, I don't know if for him, he says everything that happened. If you listen to the past episode about his divorce and all that, he says everything that happened he forgave and all that. But at times I feel the heaviness and all that, and I'm like, maybe for him he thinks this everything is okay, but now I feel like it's my responsibility when he's down for me to get him out of this fire. And honestly, I know when I met him, he was a good man. He was goals and all that. And then now we started being together, and you realize like some gaps, which did not really change who he was. It was just like gaps. Okay, I did not know this, and I did not know how much of an accent this is deep. But he's been growing, and honestly, I don't think he knew where he was at that moment. But for me, I don't know, I just mentioned to him this dream, and I was all like, oh, I had like an interesting dream about you and this, but we didn't go into details because I was waiting to see. And then, so for me, anytime I see things happening, I'm like, yeah, this is that fire, and I'm supposed to take up my responsibility and help him get out of this situation in a good way, without really judging him, without really feeling, because he is kind of confused in that season and he doesn't even know what to do. And I don't know if you can confirm, but like those seasons that you've been at times, just things are going this way, and you have financially a lot of things just going on and about. And it was scary for me. Imagine you're going into a place that finances are a bit tight, or rather, finances are going to be tight, but love is there. Anyway, and after that dream again, that was also for me, that was also an encouragement for me to continue. Rather, I don't know if I should call it a confirmation, but it was an encouragement. And now I knew, it's like God showed me, like, this is what you're getting yourself into. Just go prepared. It might take time for him, whatever. If you're a spiritual person, probably you understand, but it might take time, but it will happen, because eventually we went and landed in a space that it was very peaceful, and now we were walking and we were happy. Like the 1 second ago did not exist, that we were running and I was trying to pull him, and like, we have to go, and now this other side is all merry.
That sounds so good to have the peace. I think that really goes along with, wife being the helper. It's was it Ezra Kenegdo? Yeah.
Anyway, back to the story. So
yeah, now we're back in I'm back in Castlegar. You're going to work. This is October, pretty much the end of October. So now November. October. Yeah, November, and then we just have the first, another month and a half, and then she wanted to come for Christmas. We figured out a way to get her to come here for Christmas, so we actually used a ride share.
No, we did not. Came with Esther for Christmas. We came again with Esther for Christmas.
Okay,
Esther drove us for Christmas,
right. Yeah. It was a week, right?
Yeah, we spent about a week here.
And I think it was yeah, it was right around then. Like it was, what was it? November sometime. I actually got back into this house, and then so I could take over my house back again, and then yeah, lots of room available for people. So yeah, we had a really good
Christmas, yeah.
Christmas, and
We
Christmas Day like
went.
it was really good because I'm not all about celebrating Christmas for the fact that it's a holiday. It's like the grassroots about Christmas, the family, the friends, the people, the community. That's more Christmas than getting a tree. And that's great too. I love the Christmas songs. It's nice and fun. But you know,
I think.
it's not 100% just Christmas is the only time you think about the birth of our Savior. So
Anyway, we digress. We're not talking about
we
Christmas.
digress apparently.
Okay, so on that day, what happened on Christmas? We decided to go for a
We went for a
walk.
walk. We went through the woods,
Yeah,
through the snow, behind our house. Walked down there. Just I don't know what did we do? We went to Shoppers Drug Mart.
yeah, we just went to. We created like
We
we
wore the
did marking.
same outfit. She
Did we?
fleece blue shirt with
Oh yeah, it
black
was a
pants. I'll
coincidence.
never
Yeah,
forget that. And we did not plan that. We were just looking like a team.
yeah.
And then we chatted and went to town and tried the
We
dollar
walked.
store out,
He
but it was
showed.
closed.
Yeah, almost everything was closed. Actually, it was weird. And then we went to the woods and created like a path. What was it called? Marking the path or what? With that red sticker,
Yeah, we did
that
that on
red
the way down.
plastic.
The tape, forest tape.
Yeah, and then we marked the forest and the path, and then came back home. What did we do?
Yeah, I think we just went shopping.
You did. Oh, he did my hair. He tried and doing my hair and all that. And then no, we tried telling Esther, let's do this, let's do this. So it's not like she was really that willing. She just did not want to do anything. Of course, she loves computer, YouTube, and all those things. So she was fine and she was okay. And after that, Christmas ended, went back to Vancouver, or rather the lower mainland. He stayed here. We drove with Esther. We're both tired. We just shared and then we drove like halfway. We get to Vancouver, I go home. We continue keeping in touch and then he comes. So something happens with my schooling and work and all that. So he comes to get me, more like a break, and bring my things to here closer by so that
Moved
around
her,
here.
moved
Yeah.
her from Delta to here.
Yeah, so that I can be close to him as we continue knowing each other. And it was like, oh, interesting. I'm moving from a big city to a very small place. And then, yeah, we continue getting to know each other. What else? Until like after that, we just knew this is it and all
It's
that. And
not
then,
long. Like you were here by middle of January.
yeah,
Not even like first week or two. You went to Princeton, the Rockridge Canyon for a Christmas thing for work.
oh, for New Year, yeah.
And then shortly after that, we already moved your stuff here or whatever. So you just had to get from there to here with a few things. So we got a ride share for you that time.
No, you came and picked me up.
Was it that time? You got a ride share going there?
No, let me see. No, going there, I did not go from here. So what happened after Christmas? We went back. I went with the people. Actually, Esther dropped me to Princeton. Actually, yeah, we did not go to Vancouver. Esther dropped me to Princeton.
Yeah, you got
After that, you came and picked me up from Princeton.
Oh yes, that's right.
And then we came here. I stayed here for like a week or some few days. Then you dropped me to the lower mainland again. And then by then I was having an exam that I was doing as well.
Right.
So it was, yeah, it was. I think it was online. I was doing some stuff like some shortcuts and all those assessments. And then he dropped me to the lower mainland again. And after that, he came back. Did not stay long. Then came back. Now for me now that's when we moved things this side, and then we stayed together, like getting to know each other and what have you. And in April, we decided to do our vows together, and then it was like sealed.
Yep.
And after that, happily ever after. Yeah, happily ever after. No, we've had our challenges and differences for sure.
Well, yeah, and it was something we wanted to do. Like, you say you don't want to live with somebody until you're married, but I knew long before her coming to live here I wanted to marry her. We got married as soon as we could.
Yeah, we did our vows in April, and then from April, then we decided that we wanted a baby.
Yes, so we started baby making for sure.
Yeah, and we were intentional. Like I wanted baby, he wanted a baby, so we were like, "Yeah, what are we waiting for?" Poof.
Yeah.
And then in the same April, the baby was in the oven, and then after that, we lived happily ever after. Anyway, after that, here we are. So I don't know if you know you have every.
That was
everything.
the first chapter of us and getting to know each other and meeting each other and getting married. And then everything else just kind of lots of drama in my life on top of that. And she's been a really good helper for me being here.
Yeah, but that's how we met. And if you have any questions, you can ask questions, and we will be happy to answer.
100%.
Yeah, I think we're comfortable answering most, so we'll be happy to answer almost all of the questions that you have. Anyway, thank you so much. This is our story, so thank you so much for being with us and journeying with us and getting to know us. Ask any question, comment, like, subscribe, share, and yeah. Thank you. I've been your host, Percy, and Dave Smith. Bye.
Bye, guys.